We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
It worked out.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
Swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup. For the lead. Yes!
Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
What up, gentlemen, in the great city of Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Today, instead of covering the Eagles draft coverage, we're going to have
A brief
little-
history lesson of the hoagie. Welcome to Delco for the hoagie. Dude,
we'll also be dialed in covering Pope funeral coverage.
Pope
Shout out
funeral
to the
coverage.
Pope.
Thank you for joining us. Pope Francis, R.I.P. He was a good man.
R.I.P.
He was a good
There
man.
we go.
And we are also going to talk about the life and death of Biggie Smalls. I think these are important issues that we need to bring to the forefront. And yeah, the draft was just the draft. How crazy.
Big ups to Christopher Wallace.
Christopher Wallace. Gone too soon. Gone too soon. Gone too soon. Let's take it back to the 90s. The 90s were such a good time.
Yeah. All right. So,
God damn
so real quick. So we were at Jane had her junior prom last night.
Oh,
we
that's
were
awesome.
we were at the house, we were at her friend's house with the pre-prom pictures, and we're all talking about like when we were at the prom.
Yeah.
And we're like the crazy shit that like we were doing in like the mid 90s. Like I was trying to tell James was like, "Oh, my friends, they go to the Indian for the keg." And I'm like, "Oh, I was there." And she's like, "What?" It's like, Jane, that spot is not new. That's like an old spot. Like, that people have been drinking at that spot on the Wissahickon for like
forever.
Really a really long time.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us know though, but we already know. So appreciate it. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Times. How about Shedeur Sanders? Huh? How great is that? He won second overall. Shedeur Sanders, the guy who won second overall, right? His dad's Dion. He was saying all this crap, saying, "Hey, my son's a top 5 pick." Dude, what was he? He's still on the board, and they drafted what, 5 quarterbacks over?
All right. So the first night I saw the graphic that popped up. It was like ESPN spent more than 22 minutes talking about Shedeur Sanders throughout their whole first round draft coverage. Like I mean, listen, teams are telling you what they think about him.
Yeah.
They don't think much.
No, they don't think highly of him at all.
And at this point, there's a really good chance that he couldn't get drafted. Because if teams aren't going to take chances for him in the 3rd round, that means that like
he could just fall forever.
Fall.
All right, I'm going to give you a scenario. You ready? What if he is the last pick in the draft? What if he is Mr. Irrelevant?
When he goes to the Eagles?
No. Oh, to the Eagles?
No, we don't even have the 7th. We don't even have a 7th round.
No.
I mean, I think that would be hilarious.
Right? Like for a guy that was like Mel Kiper's best player available.
Mel Kiper's also a fucking idiot and fell in love with Jimmy Clausen. He should be retired right now.
It's very true.
Mel Kiper's a dumbass. And let's be real, those mocks never go the way they want. Like
No,
teams
no, no,
have guys,
not at all.
teams reach, especially Dallas, they draft probably the worst guard in the draft, which is pretty funny. Did you
That
see his
like
stats?
he was like that dude looked like he was like 10 years old and just won like a candy bar.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, hey, it's like, okay, well, I understand. But I mean, if you go through it, like the first pick, obviously Cam, like who would have thought a 0-star recruit coming out of high school,
Was he go one?
transfers to Miami, sets the quarterback record for touchdowns. It's just I love the U, so I watched Cam Ward a lot. I watched him play a lot last year. If
Right.
Miami had a defense, I mean, they'd be deadly because Miami would let up this long run, and then Cam would come out, and in 3 plays, it was bang, 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 score
Yeah.
all the
I
fucking
mean,
time.
the connection
kid
that he
is-
had with Arroyo was really
Yeah.
was like the cornerstone of their offense, and it was
The
like
the 12th man slot wide receiver, the 12th year slot wide receiver. The dude was like
Right.
30. It's fucking Wes Welker just changed his name and came and played in the slot. It's fucking
right.
great.
Like so, talk to me about number 2 because this pick.
Not even let's not talk about the pick, boys. Let's talk about the fucking trade.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus
They
Christ.
got a haul.
They got robbed. Like,
Yeah.
they fleeced the fuck out of Jacksonville. But
Well-
at the same time, Jacksonville got a generational talent.
Yeah.
Right.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing trade.
Right on the surface, it's like they both kind of won. Right, like Jacksonville has now someone that people could possibly tune in for, right? Especially with the way that they, they play
Yeah.
the 2 international games every year,
They
right?
have
They'll
fans?
put him. What's that?
Do they have fans?
I mean,
There's the occasional
Well-
8 people who show up.
right in the hot tubs, but and you're right, Rich. Like the haul that Cleveland got. And they really need a lot of those people to rebuild that franchise because of all the stuff that they gave up with the Deshaun Watson trade.
Mm-hmm. And they still didn't.
I don't. The one thing that I just can't get past is like you had a chance to draft 2 generational talent players,
Yeah.
and you passed on both because you traded too far back
Mm-hmm.
to get either one of those 2 guys, and like you got Mason Graham. Mason Graham's a really, really good player.
Yeah.
He's going to be good, solid. Right? Like I'm sure they'll put him next to Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I've got the opportunity to put Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett on the same defense,
Yeah.
that might win you some games.
Yeah.
Right? Like that those 2 guys putting pressure on a quarterback could be enough to like that could swing like 2 or 3 games. And Mason Graham is not that guy.
No, he's not. He is not.
So
It was a wild night. It was a wild night. Then Atlanta,
Yeah.
the overcorrection of Atlanta is fucking hilarious. Listen, we didn't get the edge rusher last year. So guess what we're gonna do, boys? We're gonna trade up. We're gonna get 2. We're gonna get 2. 2 number 1s. That's 11. It's 11. Like, what are they doing? Like,
It's Atlanta.
this is why
Yeah.
bad franchises stay bad. The Browns
Yeah.
did dumb shit, and you're still gonna be irrelevant. Atlanta, you're still gonna be irrelevant. Like, it makes me
Yeah,
fucking
I mean,
Tampa
Car-
Bay.
right.
What is Tampa Bay drafts another fucking skyscraper? What are you doing? Why do you need a fucking 4th wide receiver when you just drafted Jalen McMillan last year and he was a fucking stud?
Right. Yeah, and I look at like when you talk about bad,
fucking
like
so
bad,
dumb.
Yeah, when you talk about bad teams being bad, right? Talk about Carolina at 8 taking Tech McMillan. Like when you still had a lot of talented players
They
on the
are- So I don't hate that because
Okay, talk to me,
they
'cause I-
absolutely need an
Needed a
option
one.
for Bryce. They
Yeah.
need a solid one. So they had to do it because you can't run into the like Leggett. Yeah, all right.
He's not a
Adam
one.
Thielen, like
Thielen's gonna get flipped.
Yeah, Thielen's gonna get flipped. Like when your slot guy's your wide receiver 1, that's tough. Like they needed a outside X wide receiver. Like, I'm happy for them. Like, hopefully Bryce can do something. Do I think it was the smartest move? No, but I can see why they did it. Because now they're trying to be like, okay, Bryce did show us something, so let's give him like a talented wide receiver. I mean, I like that better than I like the Matthew Golden fucking thing for Green Bay. I don't think Matthew Golden's that good. I watched him play in that championship game, and I wasn't really impressed.
No,
But
but like
what the fuck do I know?
when you put him with the guys that are already in Green Bay, and he can be kind of like your speedy option down the field. Like it in the 20s, it makes a little bit of sense. But like
Yeah,
when I look at like when I'm looking at not
I thought
just
they
the
were on the
player and the
corner
fit, but
because
like
they have no corners.
true, but like the value of taking Tech Millen at 8, I feel like it's hard because like Carolina doesn't have a ton of picks,
No,
right? So like it felt kind of like a reach there a little
Yeah.
bit, but like when you say like you gotta get Bryce, like you have to get him some guys so that it at least looks serviceable.
yeah, you have to do your due diligence. But at the same time, Don and Joe, like you guys were watching the draft, it just didn't seem like there was outside of the top 6 guys.
It was a
Mhm.
crapshoot.
It was a crapshoot, and that's why, like, even you read the reports afterward that the one call to trade up was done, and then the phones went silent for like 25 picks because there's there's a very big discrepancy in talent. Like that COVID
Yeah,
year stuff is done. Like the COVID
yeah,
year stuff, this is the end of it. So those guys who were going to fall, even though we'll talk about our boy falling, but I mean, just like you're going to see this discrepancy in talent because all those guys are gone, and now it's okay. Let's see.
right.
So I felt like every pick was kind of like, oh, that's a reach. Like Miami, they reached for their fucking defensive tackle.
Kenneth Grant.
And I was like, ooh, that's gross.
That's Miami for you.
And it's Miami. It's just like, all right, well, I thought you would want a corner because you're trying to get rid of Ramsey. Like, none of these players, I love when they go, all right, we're putting this guy on the trade block. But then they don't draft a position to take over for him. So it's like, okay, you trade Jalen Ramsey, then who's going to play your other
Then what?
outside?
Right.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of teams were kind of just either the Eagles are just the only ones besides the top 5 guys who can fucking scout. Or these teams were just okay. Well, I really don't know, so I like this guy, but nobody's calling me to trade picks. So,
Well, see, the problem was they were calling, but it was 215 area code.
and nobody was picking it up.
I'm not picking up the phone, Howie.
Howie, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Not again. Not
Like,
again.
Block.
I mean, right? Like 215-610-267
Yep.
484.
He's got to get a better disguise number. He needs a burner. Come on.
Right?
Where's
We need a burner.
What was Brian Colangelo's number? Come
We need to get who do we need? We need
Get him
we need
KD's
Omar.
burner.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But like
Nolan, our guy went to Arizona. Don.
Walter Nolan. Yeah, I mean,
like
with that like with Jonathan Gannon down there, like that's like they're no dummies. They know that he can go down there and be effective on that defensive line, and you can put him on the same side with Josh Sweat and hope that you get a similar product that you got when you put Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat on the same side. It's and from everything that I heard, like you heard that if you wanted to get him, you were going to have to get between 10 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not going to fall. There were too many teams. And like when you look in the middle of that first round, there was a bunch of defensive tackles. And he just had too much value.
Right.
But like the pick that I love how New England just kept it really, really, really simple. Right? You just take Will Campbell, you put him at tackle, you protect Drake May, and you just call it a day. Right? That's like that, like, and that's like, and that to me is like where like that's where Vrabel can come in and just be like, this is what we're doing. I like the way that they're kind of building. They're building very similar, right, from the inside out, and it just seems like there was a lot of teams that really took some leaps of faith where it's like and that's where like when you look at all the guys that got slotted to different teams during this pre-draft process, it was so inconsistent. Like you could have gone through 10 different guys and 10 different analysts would have 10 different picks for the same exact team because what you're saying, Rich, everything was so the chasm between like 10 and 40 was like kind of like dealer's choice. It's kind of like whoever you like. There wasn't really a ton of top end talent, but like the other one that I really liked was 14. Was Tyler Warren to the Colts, but the Colts don't have a quarterback.
That's so dumb. I thought that was. They're like looking to replace Dallas Clark from fucking 15 years ago. It's just it's stupid. Like Tyler Warren wasn't the pick. They were just starting to get the ball to their good wide receivers and their good young playmaking wide receivers, and now you just muddy it up. So you're muddying it up with all these options with no fucking quarterback. So how does it help?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you look at Joe. Like it wouldn't surprise me if Tyler Warren catches 1,000 yards this year. Right,
he's not going to.
Flacco, right? Just dump it off.
Yeah,
Joe
I mean,
Flacco,
whoever the quarterback is, I mean, he's just that kind of guy where he gravitates the ball. I mean, they're going to do short yardage. They're going to do handoffs. They're going to do bubble screens. They're going to do seam routes. Like that guy is he's he's the best dual threat tight end that was available. I mean, he could block, he could catch. He's you could do gadget plays. He's
Joe. Was it surprising that he wasn't the first tight end off the board?
Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, I get how good and athletic Loveland is from Michigan, but I didn't see that coming at all. I think the body of work and the talent level, the overall talent and what he brings to the table was more than what Loveland brought to the table. But it's scouting. It's what people know. It's it's. I mean, I see him and I watched him more because I watched a lot of Penn State games. But it's the Bears. I mean, one of the Bears gotten. When's the last time the Bears gotten anything right? So it's
right. And the last time they picked in that range, they passed on Jalen Carter.
They're idiots.
Well, there you go. Right,
yeah,
and they
the
thought
Bears.
You panned that room and you saw how they reacted to that. You would have thought that they just won the Super Bowl. So, what does that say?
They drafted Love.
Be surprised by them.
Love guy, right?
Yeah,
Colston Loveland.
Yeah, stupid because they signed Cole Kmet to a big extension.
Well, that's the thing. He's gonna something's gonna happen with.
And Tyler Warren's more Sam Laporta-esque than.
Right, and something's going to happen probably too with Myers and with the Raiders. I mean, he's probably going to become available or be on the block. It'll be interesting to see what we do with Goddard. With what happens with Goddard today? If there's any shoe that drops today with Goddard. So
yeah,
I mean, the league has kind of told you what they think about Goddard, though, right? Like for the last couple months since the Super Bowl,
you're not going to be able to move him.
Right. The entire league has kind of told you, like,
oh, well,
you might as well just cut him because nobody's giving up any kind of asset to get him. Right. And if you get anything at this point, it's worth it. Right.
If you're Dallas Goddard, stay put. Who fucking cares?
Right.
You stay put and then you go to free agency next year and you get 1 year, $3 million.
Right. When you're 30 years old.
True.
You're a broken down player. I mean, he's great when he's on the field, but
he is.
You're 30, like.
He's got to show it.
I mean, you're 30 years old. Look at Ingram. Ingram went to Denver and got a 2-year deal, I think, for $8 million a year, which is probably a little bit more than he should have got. But you got to read the room, Dallas, and take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, you just won a Super Bowl. Do you want to run it back with a team that's got a chance to be in the mix as well? So
we're going to get a tight end today. We're getting a tight end today.
Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine.
No doubt.
And I think it's going to be the dude that I talked about, the guy with the knee injuries. But I like him. He's like 6'6", 255 pounds. One's like a 4'5" or 4'6". He's a big boy.
Is that the guy from Texas? Where's he from?
Jesus Christ, I forget.
What's his name?
I don't know. Big white dude. That's all I know.
Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome. Look him up. Top tight ends available. He's got a crazy last name.
Big white dude. Google.
So if you look at the tight ends available, he's got the crazy last name. I can't. Some Shemps or something like that.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
I'm not an analyst, bro.
Hold on. I'm going.
He's still there,
Rich,
right?
is it Gunnar Helm,
Yeah.
I
Gunnar
like
Helm
Gunnar
is
Helm,
the
but
guy
there's
from
another guy. Keep
Texas.
going.
That's the Texas
Mitchell
guy.
Evans,
Keep
Jackson Hawes, C.J. Dupree,
Keep going.
Thomas Findell,
Oh, maybe he got drafted already.
Maloki, Matavayo.
There you
No,
go. That's got to be it, Rich.
that's definitely it. Big, crazy white guy. That guy sounds Samoan. So I'm
Oh,
going to say this.
Rich, I have a question for you.
All right, Rich, are you talking about the kid from Bowling Green?
Yeah.
He got drafted.
Okay. Makes sense. Joe, question. Pants.
Pants.
Joe, it's Saturday morning, but I'm going to give you a no on that one.
Look, I even gave you a box, so you just tell me which box to check.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Check yes or no.
Check yes or no.
Joe's got the third grade love note. Am I wearing pants? Check yes or no.
What do you think?
That's what we're dealing with this morning, boys.
Maybe.
Oh god.
But oh man.
But in the middle of that round, right? Then you start to see some of the skill guys go off right in the 20s, right? The pick apparently that they were trying to get to take Jahad. The Eagles are trying to take Jahad Campbell was 22. They were trying to get to 22 at the Chargers, and it seemed like they just kind of wanted more than the Eagles wanted to give up, and Howie kind of read that as he does, right? Read that kind of situation exactly, let it play out the way that they thought it would. But they go Amari Hampton. The Packers go with Matthew Golden, right? And then the Giants do giant things, and they trade back into the first round for Jackson Dart. Right? If there's not a better sound that summarizes that pick, it's Jackson. It's a fart. It's the wet fart sound, right? Joe, talk to me about the Giants, because apparently, from everything that I'm hearing, right, the one report that I heard from Mike Garafolo was like, this is the guy that Brian Dable fell in love with. This is a guy that he thinks could be Josh Allen. He saw a lot of Josh Allen traits. There's a reason why Brian Dable's job is on the line.
Yeah.
If you think that Jackson Dart is Josh Allen,
That was a dumbass
problems.
comparison, Brian Dable.
Well, I mean, that's why.
Right? That's why Joe. That's why Joe Shane and Brian Dable are on the.
Have a job because of the ownership of that organization is just a shame.
Very true.
What they gave up to have to move back into the first round. I mean, you're paying what Russell Wilson is. What is that, a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal?
2-year deal.
2-year deal. You have Jameis Winston on a 1-year deal, correct?
Yeah, Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito on a 2-year deal.
Tommy Cutlets, chicken cutlets.
Tommy Chicken Cutlets.
Tommy Parmigiano. Tommy
Parmigiani.
What his name is.
Tommy Regut. We're good.
Yeah, you have Jackson Dart, who, I mean, it's boomer bust. I mean, it's gonna be a fiasco up there. But that's the Giants. That's been the Giants for years. I mean, you drafted Daniel Jones in the top 10. You let Saquon Barkley go, and didn't even offer him. Go out and see what your market is, and then give us a call. Okay. Well, if I hear that phone call, if somebody's telling me that, it's like, you know what? I can read the tea leaves. I'm not going back to that team.
Yeah. Jackson Dart's not even going to start this year, so it's like irrelevant. But that's a good thing, though.
It's a disaster pick. It's a disaster pick for what they had to give up.
Oh, 1,000%.
Did they draft an offensive lineman? Like, whoever the quarterback's going to be, who's blocking? Who's blocking?
Correct.
Sometimes you let Jesus take the wheel, bud.
Well,
you have faith in the man upstairs, and he'll come down. Remember Angels in the outfield?
Yeah.
Angels on the O-line.
Man, they're
all of a sudden going to be possessed.
Need a lot of Jesus.
Angels on the O-line.
Angels on the O-line. They're just going to all of a sudden just and then like push all the defense back for all the touchdowns.
Yeah, right. He's like they're not going to hang out with the Giants. They know better.
They're not dumb. They sold their soul with
not surprising. But like right after that, you have the Ravens doing Raven things.
They got Malachi Starks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then like, not for nothing, and this is the guy we talked about before, but like last night they get Mike Green too,
Yeah.
who was a guy that has a lot of questionable off the field stuff, but has a lot of on field production as well.
He'll be suspended in
The
probably like
problem is
3 weeks.
I don't think it was one case.
Oh no.
So if it's more than one case, I can't do it. One, maybe give
Not
you
at
the
all.
benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was, misunderstanding, or maybe it wasn't as egregious as they say it was. I don't know. You got to let you have to let the case and all that play out, and they have to find
Most definitely.
him innocent. But once you get to multiple situations, I can't do it.
No.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
But Malachi Starks fits exactly what the Ravens do.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Now you're going to put him next to
Kyle Hamilton, baby.
Kyle Hamilton, right? And now you've pretty much solidified the back end of your backfield.
They still have no corners, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they got whatchamacallit. The fuck is his name? Humphrey, but shelved himself. So
Yeah, he's getting up there.
I'm not like the Ravens are going to be good, but they're not going to. One, we'll only have to see him in the playoffs, and
Right.
let's be real, we know
We'll see him in the divisional round.
Yeah, Lamar can't get him past the hump, so not worried about it.
Right, and then we get down right. You have right the Commanders take a tackle that will. It's funny. As soon as he got picked, I was like, "Oh, Lace, they just drafted a guy that'll just get abused for the next 5 years by the Eagles."
He's probably so sad. He's probably like, "Fuck, man." Jalen Carter on the other side,
right?
Thanks a
that,
lot.
right? And when you look at the guys that the Giants have, and the Giants are trash, but like you're gonna have to go up against Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns and Abdul Carter.
I think they're trading. They're trying to trade
Thibodeau is going to be on the block, yeah.
But
yes, for the time being, he's there.
Yeah. You got.
Let's talk about the Eagles pick, right? They take Jahad Campbell, right? Which is a guy,
doggy,
right?
Dude.
Right, and he falls to the end of the first round because of
the shoulder.
The shoulder, right? But if you look at a guy that they drafted before from Alabama with injury concerns, last time that happened, that was Landon Dickerson.
Yep,
and that turned out just
real
fine.
well,
right? So, this is a guy 6'3", 240 who has the opportunity to be, with a lot of position flexibility, with a lot of opportunities to be on the field. He's a 3-down guy. You're never going to have to take him off the field. You can put him on the edge. You can put him in the middle. His comp was Zach Bond. Right? Like,
I did see that.
Right. When you look at, the position versatility and his athleticism going sideline to sideline, they got a dude. First time they took a linebacker in the first round since 1979.
Yep. He was an on-the-ball linebacker, and then they moved him to off-ball linebacker, and that he never played. Had to refigure it out. Was a fucking stud in both ways, rushing the passer and dropping back. And I love it. You got a guy who can go sideline to sideline. You have the injury concerns with our boy, fucking N'Kobe. Like it hurts, man. Like you want to see N'Kobe, flourish, but at the same time, this is basically saying to N'Kobe, "Hey, man, we love you, right? But this is your replacement. Like, get healthy, figure it out, be productive, or Jahad Campbell is going to be that dude." But the best thing is you can throw him on the line. You can get his hand in the ground. You can get him standing up. Like, he's going to be so versatile.
Right. You
and
can
that's what you want
everywhere.
And he's going to look really good next to Bryce Huff.
Who? Shout word out to the NFL today. Please take Bryce Huff off.
Bryce Huff is amazing.
Even like a 9th or 10th round pick.
Yo.
Bite the bullet.
We're
a
gonna
bag
get
of
you a
balls.
13th round pick in a fantasy draft if you want it.
We'll get you a bag of balls and some Super Bowl merch.
And some stale Hearst chips that are already bitten. Absolutely.
I got a 2025 Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl champion T-shirt that I would like to trade with Bryce Huff if you would take it.
Please.
I mean, on the overall, just a huge win, right?
Yeah.
A guy who,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't realize this from the start, but he's a South Jersey kid,
Yep.
Timber Creek, baby.
right? Timber
Born in
Creek.
Ariel.
Hey, right. He ends up what? Rich, correct me if I'm wrong. He ends up at IMG,
IMG Academy, yeah.
right? And then
I
gets
think
to
that was
Alabama.
his senior year. IMG
So his
has the
year was like a +1.
Timber Creek
Yeah.
High School. Was that Timber Creek and then IMG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was Timber Creek until his senior year because that's what everybody does. Like in New Jersey, if you're fucking talented, you just go to IMG Academy. There's like a bunch of baseball players who did that. One kid who got drafted who is like I think still stuck in like A ball, but he played for Barnegat and then went to IMG. Or no, he went to IMG, then came back his senior year to play with his friends at Barnegat. But yeah, Jihad Campbell, local kid, like literally,
Yeah,
he grew up
I mean, grew
10
up in
minutes
Philly's backyard.
from my house, and the high school's 15 minutes away from my house. It's just awesome to see like a New Jersey kid, um just a fucking monster of a man, and see him transform. I was watching some of his tape yesterday and just like watching highlights. Holy fuck, man.
Everywhere.
Like
All
we
over.
we got a dude who wants to hit you, great tackler, and the athleticism is just like off the chart. So fucking kudos, man. Kudos to Howie doing it again. And
Yes.
it's funny because
At pick 31, guys. At pick 31.
and some people were saying he was the best defensive player in the draft.
They were afraid. They were afraid because of the
With the injuries.
the
No,
injury.
it's a fucking shoulder.
I
Like,
know.
come
It's
on,
not like a
man.
knee. It's not like he's
it's not a
shredded
knee.
his knee or
Right.
he had a major reconstructive surgery. It's I mean,
And
crazy that Howie was able to pull that off.
and you literally watch these guys. They go to the doctors, the NFL doctors. The NFL doctors tell you, okay, this is what's going on. All right, well, how will he be? He'll be good. Oh, there's always risk of re-injury. But like, if I'm an NFL GM and I'm sitting down, you give me this top list. I'm going for guys who are athletic, smart, played in pro systems, and can handle. I'm not drafting an undersized defensive tackle at 15. I'm not like I don't understand. And everybody's like, "Oh, the Eagles are just getting lucky." It's like, we're not getting lucky. Like we're just more. Our scouting department is just so much more talented than you guys. And we stay away from bad character guys. That's why I'm glad we didn't get Green. Like
Mike Green. Yeah.
I'm very happy with that because I don't need that notoriety. People were still trying to say, "Oh, well, Jalen Carter." He wasn't driving the car. There was nothing wrong. Like, yeah, shit happens. You're a fucking kid. It's not rape. It's not sexual assault. Wasn't in the car. He's not beating people up on the regular. And you got guys entering the draft who fucking do that. And Howie just flat out puts his foot down and says, "I'm not doing it.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it." And you're getting these guys who are high character guys. They come in, they fit well with the locker room, and they're fucking ballers.
That's what
We
you
have-
need. You have to have that. You have to
We
have
have
that.
2 fucking linebackers, 3 linebackers who can fucking play.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
And that,
When
right,
he
Rich.
spoke-
And now you look at the way that Fangio is going to be able to kind of design some packages, right? You could very well see some like you're going to be very young and very athletic
yeah.
at some really key positions where when you talk about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, they're a little light at edge, right? Which is you want to see some depth behind. Right now you got Mora Jomo in that spot, but like you want to be able to kind of build some depth. But like you could look at packages where you're going to have Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, and Jihad Campbell on the field at the same time.
Yeah. You can
Right,
throw
like-
him right on the edge and let him go.
Right, like that, and that's where when they talk about the athleticism and the position versatility, like you talk about him having the opportunity to be able to be on the field,
Yeah.
which is where I'm like, oh, all right, so like you can put him at edge, right, when he's healthy. You can put him in the middle if you need to. You can put him up and down the line, and this is that like this reminds me of like that Joker role where it's like
Yeah.
the way that you see some like the way the way that you see the Cowboys use Micah Parsons, right? Just put them all over the field, and good luck blocking them because of the amount of talent. As many guys as the Eagles lost on defense, they still have a ton of talent.
Oh, a ton.
And and now they're younger.
A ton of talent. Dogs barking out the window.
Nah, don't worry about it. We all got dogs.
No, I just love the fact that they went and they did something that I didn't think they were going to do. And obviously, like, we can talk like second round, whatever. Like, I like the fact. I mean, Arizona got 2 studs. They ended up getting a kid from Michigan, a corner. Like, good for them.
Yeah.
That's the kid that like I wanted. I'm trying to think like if there's any other like notable stuff like from the second round, because the second round was kind of the same way too. You saw a lot of movement, a lot of up and back from different teams, and it just
Very
shows
much
like
so.
all the it was everywhere. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm watching. Oh, this guy moved up. These guys moved up, and it was for people that I really didn't expect. Like Jalen Milrow, whatever, from Alabama. Didn't expect him to really come off the board that early. And then the kid from the other quarterback, white boy, slow. Didn't expect him to come off the board. And just like kind of watching it and seeing like in perspective, I'm like, oh wow, like there's really no rhyme or reason to any of this. Like,
no. But like that kid is it's very viable with Derek Carr's injury that he's probably the day one starter.
Oh, he's going to be, because they're like, we don't even know if Derek Carr is going to start. Derek Carr fucking sucks. We've said it 100 times. He's terrible. Like, everybody who said Mike Thomas was fucking wrong for calling him out on Twitter owes Mike Thomas an apology. That dude killed more wide receivers in the NFL than anybody else. Hospital ball after hospital ball. And then Derek Carr, well, Jesus told me to throw it. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Hit your guy in the chest and on the run for once.
Oh my God. But like, all right, so I'm gonna give you a couple of guys that when the first round ended that I was kind of looking at with it, but guys that went earlier on that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to jump up, right? Like Nicky Moore, the safety from South Carolina, which was a guy that I really liked.
Seattle traded up for him.
So Seattle traded up for him. Mason Taylor goes to the Jets, which was a guy that I really liked.
We all did.
Right, like the on-field talent for him is a no-brainer. Ezeraku, and another South Jersey kid who ends up going to the Cowboys. Was a guy that I thought that could possibly get to into the mid 50s where you could make it viable to package a couple 5th round picks and jump up. But that didn't happen. Your boy Elijah Arroyo goes to Seattle at 50. Nick Scoreton was a guy that got mocked in a lot of first round. Was a guy that didn't go until 51. Trying to think who else.
Joe's gone. Joe, where's your pants?
Oh, Joe told me his phone might die, so we'll keep him. And then Rich, there was another guy that. Go ahead.
Why does Seattle have a full offense made of slot receivers? Joe's back.
Oh, what up, Joe?
Joe, pants? Joe?
Sorry, you guys froze up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we had you, Joe.
I got nervous. I just asked the question of why Seattle is building their offense around slot wide receivers.
It's crazy.
Oh,
now they have 3 of them.
Because it's Seattle.
Because they have 3 of them. JSN, Cooper Kupp, Arroyo.
I mean,
you guys froze up. Give me a second.
Maybe you got you're trying to build an offense with Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
you
dink and dunk.
He can't, right? Just going to dink and dunk all down the field. And then Rich, the other guy was that I had my eye on was a guy like Tate Radledge was a guard that I thought could be a viable option for them at 64.
Yeah.
And then the kid from Tennessee that gets drafted right before the Eagles was Omar Norman Lott.
Okay. When it comes to like falling out of this, like there's some guys that I knew, some guys that I didn't know. But like it was a lot of movement, a lot of trading back, a lot of trading up. Like, the Eagles stayed put for I think they traded back, right?
So at 64, they stay put.
They stay
didn't
put, and
move.
then they just traded out of the rest.
Yeah.
And then the third round, they wait until the end. They trade, and then they trade again, and so they end up. But they end up with Andrew McCullough, who's the safety from Texas, who is
Kid can ball.
He's a good player, man.
Right, 4-year starter, right?
Kid can ball.
Did the first 3 years at Clemson, right? Does the last year at Texas,
Yep.
and you look at his transition from slot to safety, right? Goes from 1 interception to 5.
Yeah, dude's a ball hog.
So, and when I'm watching the highlights, right, it's a little. I mean, is it too early to make the comp?
Yahoo already has him comped as CJGJ.
Yep.
Yahoo's like player comparison.
He's a
CJ
little
Gardner Johnson.
He's just a little bit lighter. That's I mean,
he'll get bigger. Don't worry, he'll get bigger.
No, right. Get him some,
and he's young
some
too,
NFL
right?
meals
22?
Yeah, he's going.
Like this pick I love, right? Has a little bit of the Sidney Brown crazy, fly all over the field, just not as dumb.
He's not the yes.
Right? Like he's fly all over the field, make a ton of plays.
Can I give you my comp for him? One of my favorite safeties who his time was cut short. Fucking Bob Sanders. Dude, I was watching his highlights last night, dude. He reminds me of Bob Sanders just coming out and being a smaller build type dude and just laying the wood.
Hey.
I love it.
Dude, he came out of nowhere on one play. I forget who it was. The running back's running like clear lane to get the first down. You see this dude fly out of nowhere and just smash him. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, oh, that's our safety. That's our safety. Like, let's fucking go. But then, the interceptions, and he balled out in the championship game. Like, he made his mark. And going back and like reading what people are saying, they're like, that's an absolute steal. Like, for one of the best safeties in the position, guy who's versatile, can play the slot if needed, which we don't, but he can play that. Again, that CJGJ, Malcolm Jenkins type role, because that's the Eagles like those types of safeties. You keep Milk Boy in the back, let him play center field, and then you can put him anywhere. And again, we got so young, so fast, so strong, so talented. Fucking love it.
And he's the third. I mean, you get a guy at 64, and you get the third safety.
Yeah.
Right. He's right. And and this is where I go back to Rich, like the value of that guy, getting that guy at 64.
Yep.
Is almost just as much, if not better, than the value that you got for Jahad Campbell at 31 at that pick.
Yeah. A lot of skill positions came off the board. A lot of guys that I didn't think that were going to come off. Like New England drafting a running back, Travion Henderson or Hendrickson or whatever. Like a lot of guys came off.
Those two guys from Ohio State go off within a couple picks of each other.
Yeah, it was just like, all right.
Head scratch.
Like Judkins goes to Cleveland, and then Henderson goes to New England.
Yeah, and Cleveland, I get it. They need, but I'm like, your offensive line's still pretty ass. But again,
and
these organizations are going to do whatever.
Right? Like it's Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett or bust.
Kenny Pickett, baby. Super Bowl champion.
But Rich, the guy that you're talking about, Harold Fannin, was the tight end for Bowling Green that got a lot of buzz with the Eagles, but he goes to Cleveland at the top of the third round. Other than that,
fucking sense. They have Njoku.
I know. Yeah,
it makes no sense.
As soon as they did that.
I'm trying to look through.
No, if fucking Browns say, "Hey, we'll trade Njoku for a sixth," I would take that in a heartbeat. Give me David Njoku, dude. That dude is super athletic.
There's going to be so many guys that are going to be available now.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think you kind of got based on the way that the third round kind of plays out. You get the sense of why the Eagles kind of traded out of the end of the third round, because they're just the player value there it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like the only guy of note is like the safety from Notre Dame. Watts was a kid that like
who fell.
who fell but ends up going at the end of the third round to Atlanta. Unless Atlanta takes another defensive end, right? Just keep
Just
taking
throw another edge
defensive ends,
rusher out there.
right?
Just
Just throw another edge, right? So the obviously the huge buzz around the draft is right is Shedeur Sanders, and this is I really do think that this is just a classic case of like the hype is just not worth. It's just not worth the sauce.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he would fall that
This
hard.
far.
Like I didn't think that. But I think it's just a lot to deal with, and I don't think it's like people are like, oh, it's a smear campaign. It's a smear campaign. I don't think it's that. I think the way that he
He's
really
just
did
not that good.
and the way that he probably conducted himself in the personal interviews, because again, he was the guy who came out and said, or his dad or whatever, he ain't gonna play for these teams. Well, if these teams are still gonna interview you and they're gonna try to give
Right.
you a job, and then you kind of blow them off because you're being a condescending asshole,
Yeah.
well, guess what?
Well,
The
fuck
word's
you
gonna
then. Like,
spread,
right.
and they're gonna be like, well, fuck you, good luck, because we're gonna put this out there now because you're an asshole. You want to play for two teams? Guess what? These two teams don't want you. So good luck. We don't care who your dad is. Like, and he's not a day one starter in the NFL.
Right.
Him, Jackson Dart, those guys are sit a year, then play. Can he handle sitting behind somebody and learning the system?
Put him in Dallas.
Yeah. Put him in Dallas and they're gonna trade Dak to Cleveland, and then it's gonna be, I don't know. That was my
Xander
night
show.
one. It's
Yeah, I mean,
so
listen,
dumb.
Rich, I would argue with you that out of all these guys, Cam Ward is the only guy that's close to being a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Every other quarterback in this draft is like ceiling is a backup,
Yeah.
right? Like
All reaches, bro.
all of them, right? And for like, I mean, Dylan Gabriel goes in the third round, like to Cleveland. Like these are just like
Cleveland, baby.
To Cleveland. Yeah, I mean, we already know that the NFL talent at quarterback is outside the 12 guys. It's very limited.
just very bad.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, especially with these kids with these no deals, hopping. You know, you're going to survive on arm in college. You can survive on arm talent alone. But in the pros, you have to survive on learning the systems and being smart. And a lot of these kids are going to falter because they're not staying put, learning systems and actually putting the work in. Just going out, just trying to ball the fuck out so they can get their bag and then enter the draft. And it's the product is going to suffer at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Next year, I think you got what, like Manning and the other kid. There's like two next year, and that's it. So it's kind of like quarterback product going down. Hey,
right,
that's
and
why
that's
we're in such a
where,
great
like,
position.
Right, and that's where you look at like the value of Tanner McKee.
Yep, and you don't get rid of him. Like,
right, you hold on to him, and he could inevitably catch you a first round pick, second round pick, because the teams just don't see the value there to be able to get anything.
Yep.
Like
Agreed.
in the draft. Right now, for today, right, they got pick 111 and 130 in the fourth round. And then you've got in round 5, 61, 165, 168, and 191.
Yeah.
So like when you look at some of the guys that are still available, there's a run. I know they don't running. There's a guy at running back who's just super intriguing. Cam Scatabo.
No.
I don't know, Rich. Something about it
No.
is just intriguing. Now
He's such, I don't know. He's got a giant head and like both ways, like ego and his fucking head's huge. Like that's a guy that I don't want to deal with. I mean, you already have, what are you going to do? Practice squad him? You're not putting AJ Dillon anywhere. You're not putting Shipley down. Like Shipley got run in the fucking Super Bowl and looked good. Like we don't need him. We're not going to roster.
I know. It's just a guy that's intriguing.
No, John. Talk yourself out of it. Would you? God damn it.
Right,
talk yourself into an offensive lineman, would you?
All right. So like today, they're gonna like 111. They're gonna have the 9th pick today.
Yeah.
In the fourth round. So like right? So when you look at like O tackle, D tackle, right? There's a kid at Texas, 6'6", 317. Right, Cameron Williams is a guy in the third who could be available for them. And then at D tackle, right, you've got Joshua Farmer, who's a 6'3", 305.
What about Jack Sawyer, baby? What about Big Jack?
I like that.
I wouldn't mind him in the fourth. I mean, they had him projected as like a third round prospect. I wouldn't mind him as a fourth.
Is he an edge?
I think they have him listed as edge. I
Yeah,
think they do.
yeah.
I know he played all over the defensive line for Ohio State. Trust me, I think he's like 26. I wouldn't kick the tires. I just think he's interesting at being there. But Ohio State players always suck in the pros anyway, so not really. Let's find somebody else. Sorry, Jack. Talk myself out of you real quick.
Is
Thought
there
about it.
anybody
Fucked up.
anybody that's intriguing to you?
No, I the way that the draft's been working and just watching the Eagles just trade out, I just feel like it's just a crapshoot at this point. I
Yeah,
mean, if I'm going for somebody, I'm looking for like at this point, I'm looking for like the Jalex Hunt types. I'm looking for
Okay.
those guys. I'm looking for this guy's athletic but smart, and I can move him to a different position, utilize his intangibles to his best fit. I think that's more or less if I'm going at it as a GM. I don't want to lock myself into a position. I want to look at who's the most athletic guy. Let's look at his intangibles. Okay, he was a offensive lineman, moved to tight end, whatever. Okay, we can use this. Like he's obviously got the footwork, he's got the hands. Let's see what we can do, and kind of like go from there. Because I don't think there's a clear cut choice, and the Eagles' needs right now are defensive line and tackle. So
Yeah.
that's
I was just about to say,
or
instead of
guard
talking
and
about guys, talk about positions.
guard and defensive line. That's all I'm really looking at.
tight end.
Oh, tight end,
And
yes.
tight end,
Gunnar Helm
yeah.
at tight end. I'll take him at tight end.
Yeah.
Gunnar,
So like
give me Gunnar
I
Helm
think
from Texas.
yeah, I think when you look at that first pick in the fourth round, which is like it'll be like the ninth pick. I think it's got to be either offensive line or tight end. It's going to be one of those two. And I think it could be like at 111 and 130, it could be like whatever you don't take at 111, you take at 130. But if Howie Roseman has done anything, it's to not draft for need. You've watched teams up and down this draft for need and try to overcorrect. I think there's an opportunity here to, you build the back end of your roster, and this is what they do best, Rich. And like Jalex Hunt is a perfect example of that.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think something might be coming too. Maybe with a vet, making a move for a vet. I mean, if they're trading down and adding picks when you already have 112 picks, it's you kind of feel like
I would love.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of picks next year
something
too.
Something might be brewing. So
I would love.
I mean,
David
nothing. I
Njoku.
don't think
Clark could
anything
be
major, but they might pluck a tight end. They might pluck a defensive tackle from somebody. But we'll see. I mean, Howie's got a plan. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy knows what he's doing for sure. So,
and I think the pick last night kind of puts all the Justin Simmons stuff
when you have Chef Howie, baby.
Chef pants or no pants.
Chef Howie.
Joe, I'd like to call him Howie. He's Howie Potter.
Howie Potter.
He's a great chef. Now, when we switch over to talk about baseball real quick, a guy like Aaron Nola, you don't want him in the kitchen.
I mean, stink pot.
His specialty, Joe,
is the long meat bowl.
Oh, dude, Aaron Nola,
his
meatball recipe,
favorite,
probably at least the best in baseball.
Aaron Nola's favorite book is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Cloudy with
a Chance of Meatballs. I love it.
Very much so.
Oh man.
So listen, on the way out, what do we got? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is be like the rookie the Bills drafted. I forget the corner's name that they drafted from
Hairston.
Hairston. That guy is perfect example. Be happy for other people's success, even if it's not yours.
This video is
That was so incredible because that's character, and that's what I love. That dude was excited and happy for every single person who was drafted before him and was dabbing them up, showing them love, smiling like ear to ear, just enjoying the moment, enjoying life. And when he said, "What are you getting from me? You're getting some guy who works hard, the ultimate teammate, the ultimate this." Like, I love that because I love seeing people not shitting on other people's success, but being happy for them. Like when we talk about athletes and stuff, it's like most of the time when I'm like, this guy stinks, obviously I know he doesn't stink. Like it's a joke. Like I'm saying he stinks compared to the field that he's playing against, not against me, you, or Joe. This guy's elite. Let's be real. Happy for other people's success, be positive, and I just loved everything about that kid, that I'm going to follow his career closely and pray for his success, and hopefully he does well in what he does, because that was incredible. You don't see people do that anymore. And I wish everybody I come in contact, I wish Joe, Don, Mike, all those guys, Jason, I wish you guys are all successful in all your endeavors, and I love when you guys are successful because I want to see, the people I love like around me do well. And to see that from that kid, I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it. It was awesome. Be him.
Joe,
Be
Joe,
Hairston.
what do you got? That video, that story, that whole the coverage of that was incredible.
Be Hairston.
So, yeah, I mean,
Joe, what happened?
Joe's going to search for his pants.
I think Joe's in a wind tunnel.
Joe is in a wind tunnel. I'm gonna put Joe on mute for a second. Good lord. All right, so Rich, we got some surprisingly cool news, and to kind of piggyback off your point, right? I think the premonition of why we continue to do this, right, is because of the relationships that it builds, and right, the people that tune in, and we got recognized by
that was sick.
the Millions podcast, which is it's an X account. It is what it is. But we got recognized as on the list, and I'm trying to pull the banners off here, but you've got the top 60 Eagles podcasts, and this crew of dudes came in at number 26.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's
incredible.
It's a really and this list includes your heavy hitters of your drive time radio shows and your network radio shows, and it was just it kind of gives you the cool vibe of coming back to why you do this, and you do this because and I think that's why you see people tune in, because of the opportunities to just it's never about getting recognized. It's always just about the conversations, and it's about the relationships, and it's about the camaraderie. And it was just cool to have that recognition. And listen, I have no idea where this came from, which is even better because it was not solicited. It wasn't a fan vote. It was just, I don't know how they algorithm the,
thanks, Adam.
But it's the 26th pick, right? That number is a really cool thing.
Hell yeah, it is.
Right? To have Saquon Barkley at 26, wearing number 26,
I was thinking,
and for us to be 26, right? It was just cool. Yeah. Just cool to see. And Rich, I'm also gonna share this tab just to kind of piggyback off that, because sometimes this is cool to kind of go through the information of where people are listening. Most of our percentages comes from the United States. Mm-hmm. But we've also had listeners tune in from the following countries: China,
Ireland,
Canada, Germany, Ireland, Ukraine, India, South Africa, Brazil, the United Kingdom, Russia, Sweden, Bulgaria, Iceland, Hungary, Bangladesh, Slovakia, France, Palestine, Pakistan, the Netherlands, and New Caledonia. I don't know where that is.
I don't know either, but I'm interested.
But very cool, right?
It is pretty awesome.
That on some level, someone in those countries checked in for half a second.
Yep.
Right. And then in the United States, most of our listeners, obviously, right, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, but North Carolina, Maryland, Illinois, Virginia, Iowa, Washington State, Utah, Texas, New York, Ohio, Florida, California, Arizona, Michigan, Colorado, Delaware. I'm going to have to put together a map.
Yeah, I would love to see
Wisconsin,
the map.
D.C., Missouri, Massachusetts, Georgia, Tennessee, West Virginia, Indiana, Montana, Oklahoma, New Hampshire.
Yeah. What's
Right?
number one? Is it Philly? Is Philly or is
Number
Pennsylvania
one
number
is
one?
Pennsylvania at
That'll work.
59%, and New Jersey at 11. Right, and then you
Nice.
got right, which I thought Delaware might be in. No, North Carolina, Maryland, Illinois. It's just a really cool thing to see.
It is pretty awesome.
Where people are tuning in for, and it's always good to kind of check in with these and kind of look at where those opportunities are. And
Definitely.
yeah,
That's so awesome, man.
so on that note, Rich,
Well,
let's take us home.
you stuck around, you fucked around, you found out. I'm Rich. That's Don. We are drunk on broad.
We lost Joe. Joe might be
We
searching for
lost
his
Joe.
pants.
Joe, probably something happened in Joe's pants. Maybe a doo-doo. I don't know. It just happens. Joe, feel better soon, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. His thing went, and Don spit out his water. John almost choked. Oh God, Don. Don, don't leave me. Don't leave me. As always, it's Fucks by Geskin, Fuck Downs, and everybody else. It is draft day 3. Yeah, tune in next week. We'll break down a few more picks, and we're just going to keep having some fun. Again, thank you guys for everything. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy your weekend. I'm going to go coach my son playing some baseball. So
Go Birds.
go Birds. Go Birds.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
E-A-T-L-E-A!